Good morning, everybody. How are we doing this beautiful Saturday morning for some of you, hope? I know here it is a torrential downpour today. So if I lose connection with you guys, I apologize right up front. Last night it was just so rainy last night. The winds are gusting like crazy. So internet's a little bit of spotty today. So hopefully we don't lose connection today. Once again, I apologize if I do. It's been torrential downpour for the last 24 hours and all the way up until Monday. Um, I know in Indiana today, South Bend, it is raining there today. A friend of mine, a great high school friend, he's actually one of the ushers for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And he sent me a picture this morning. Fox Sports is already there setting up the tents and everything like that. But it is a torrential downpour in South Bend today. So once again, I apologize if I do lose connection with you guys. I'm very apologetic about that. But hey, listen, today it is, we have to wait basically another 8 hours before game time here. But man, a lot of people circled this game on the schedule. I do a college show with Bill Furman on Wednesday night at 8:30, at 8:05, I'm sorry. And last night, we did it last night because the Phillies game were on this week. But we talked about one thing where, teams do schedule certain games on their schedule. And, as a fan, number one, there was two games that I circled this year, of course, the Ohio State game, which, didn't go our way, last play of the game, basically. And this game here, USC, Caleb Williams, Heisman Trophy winner, of course. I did circle this game. This year it's a little bit different. It is in South Bend this year. So it gives us the advantage, in front of our home crowd. But as we all know, home crowd really doesn't mean anything. If you guys got a chance last night to stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning and basically watch a Pac-12 game, who we are playing today, Colorado, versus, excuse me, losing my thing there, but against Stanford last night. Stanford was up, 30. They lost the game in double overtime last night. Second half, Stanford just came back and outscored them 36-7. Anything can happen for 60 minutes there, but playing at home is a different breed. We're home this week. I'm very happy about that. South Bend, Indiana. I grew up about an hour away from there. So it's great to have USC come there tonight. We have a comment. One of our best viewers, Adam Glenn, checking in. Adam Glenn checking in. Saying, "What's up, go Irish?" Adam, how you doing? I know you can't wait for this game tonight. I am so hyped up for this game. Notre Dame sits at number 21, of course, but USC is number 10. But this is one of the games where we have to play. We have to get back into the top 10 no matter what we do here. Being in the top 10 right now is no given. They're not going to make the BCS, because if you look at the seedings here, number one, Georgia, they have pretty much, I want to say, the second easiest schedule all the way up until the SEC championship game. They'll definitely make it, of course. But the other teams in there, you look at, Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State, they do all have to play each other in the Big Ten. So that triangle of teams, I think it's 3, 4, and 6 are going to all play each other. Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan. So that's going to take itself out. The Pac-12, you have Oregon, Washington, USC, all in the mix there. So that's going to play itself out too. The team that I think is going to has the easiest schedule, they will probably have to play Texas again. Oklahoma sitting at 5 after beating Texas in the Red River Showdown, or rivalry, whatever you want to call it. I call it rivalry. I'm old school. But they will play each other later on in the Big 12 championship. So Oklahoma has the easiest one. I'm not saying Notre Dame has a shot to get to the BCS, but listen, you got to win out. I mean, being a 2-loss team already, your 2 losses, yes, I understand, are 2 top 25 teams. Ohio State, of course, which was, I believe, 3 at the time when we played them, 3 or 4. Then you had, Louisville, of course. I mean, every team has a circle on their schedule, and every time you play Notre Dame, that game is circled no matter where it's at. I don't care if you're top 25. I don't care if you're number 1 in the nation. You could be the Sisters of the Poor down the street. You're going to circle that game when you play Notre Dame. So today's a circle game for me, but I want to talk about a couple things today. Hartman was questionable. He is a full-time play today. He is definitely going to play today, of course, for the Notre Dame team. What I want to talk about is this Notre Dame offense. This Notre Dame offense has got to find the rhythm again. Last week, I wrote down some stats for my college football show with Bill, and the once mind-blowing stat was this game was lost in the trenches last week. You had Notre Dame running the ball, I believe it was 34 times total for the game, and a total of 48 total yards last week. Unacceptable. You hold estimated 20 yards per the game in the entire five-headed dragon that we have at running back. 48 yards total. I mean, this game was lost in the trenches. No heart last week on basically both sides of the ball. You gave up damn near 200 yards on defense last week, to a rushing attack against Louisville. I couldn't even name some of their Louisville running backs, to be honest with you, but it goes to show you that when you lose a game in the trenches, that's what's going to happen no matter who you play, what team, regardless of record or, depth, what they have. But I want to see this offensive line take control because last week, led by Joe Alt, preseason All-American, consensus top 10 pick next year in the NFL draft, they got handled last week. And it just showed from play one to play two where this team was just outplayed on the offensive line. We have to start, continue the offensive line here to go back to Notre Dame football. Get Tyree in gap action where he can actually run the ball and get through the holes here. My thing was, if you don't establish the run game right away, it takes away a lot of proceedings for Notre Dame to throw the ball downfield. 48 yards, totally unacceptable for a Notre Dame football team. I just don't know what happened last week with Notre Dame. It was the game was lost in the trenches. We lost it there first, first and foremost, right away with the offense. But we've got to get back on track today. We definitely have to do. And guys, I apologize. I think I am lagging a little bit due to the fact that this weather is really bad up here. I'm just looking at my connection and it's going in and out today. So if I do apologize if I do lose connection with you guys. I'm very apologetic about that. I'm very sorry about that. Like I said, it is a torrential downpour today, and unfortunately, I have to coach in about an hour, about 2 hours. We do play up here today, so I apologize for that. But getting back to this game here, the offensive line has to continue this game. We have to get in the trenches, win this game, of course. So that's where first I'm going to start. Rocco Spindler, Blake Fisher, and Zeke Corral need to, along with Joe Alt, need to come out and establish the run game right away. We have to do that because last week it was just a manhandling of this offensive line. We've seen in the first 5 games what this Notre Dame team can do. Run the ball, give the ball. Hartman handed off to Estime, G. Brian Payne. That's what we did the first 5 games basically. We ran the ball great, but last week it was just up front. We had nothing established. The wide receivers, I don't want to say the wide receivers. I want to say Gerard Parker has to call a better game here. We have to exclusively look downfield. Chris Tyree, as I said last week in the game prior to the Louisville game, these wide receivers are averaging, 16 to 20 yards per catch. Chris Tyree is getting a lot of yak yards after the catch, of course, but we have to establish a game where we can use the wide receivers a little bit down in the second level here. Of course, we had Mitchell Evans. I mean, what bothers me about, the play calling with Notre Dame right now is that we are looking at the tight end a lot in the first half. But in the second half, it's like a tale of two cities here. We look for Mitchell Evans in the first half, but in the second half, he goes MIA. And that is not him going MIA. That is the play calling ability, Gerard Parker. Last week we've seen Hartman have his worst game, 15-0 in touchdown versus interception ratio the first 5 games. And in the last game, of course, he throws 3 picks last week. I don't know if it's the ACC, coming back and haunting him again because a lot of ACC teams did, find a way to beat him. Going back to the very first week, this first ACC team we played this year was North Carolina State. They run a 3-3-5, which really confused Sam Parker in the first half. The second half, he established a way to find a rhythm, get back into the game, pull away from NC State. But then you go to, when we're playing Duke there. Duke at home, of course, they're a different breed. They have Riley Leonard at quarterback, who hopefully he's doing well. He got injured in that game, of course. But my thing is, other than that, you look at I think I am lagging there, guys. I'm very apologetic for that. I'm very sorry about that. But we are gonna keep this a little bit short today because I am lagging. The weather is just so bad today. I'm very sorry for that. But let's go some inactives. Sam Hartman is playing today, of course. He will play today a little bit. He has no injuries at all. He will play. Jean Baptiste is playing. He was limited in practice this week, so he will be playing as well. On the USC side, the one player that I want to talk about that is very questionable game time decision is their number one wide receiver. They do have Jerry Rice's son, of course, but they do have Zachariah Brown. He is the nation's top recruit coming out of high school last year. He's a 5-star recruit. He averages 24 yards per catch. He has 5 touchdowns this year. He has 1 touchdown per game, and he has 2 kick return punts for touchdowns already. He is actually going to be on the shelf today, most likely. He's a game time decision. We all know that USC can't score behind Caleb Williams, Jerry Rice, Mario Williams. I love these wide receivers. Dorian Singer is questionable as well today. They do have a guy named Michael Jackson who actually can fly down the field too with Brendan Rice too. So they are pretty stacked at wide receiver. We do know that. Their running game is very solid as well. They lost, last year a couple of running backs as well, but this year they are stacked. The offense can score. But I think Notre Dame, the key factor here is Notre Dame has to score. We know USC gives up points. They gave up so many points to Colorado. They gave up so many points to Arizona last week in a triple overtime, victory, barely squeaking that out. So we know they do give up a handful of points. Something Notre Dame has to do today. They have to keep up equivalency to score against USC. That is a big task as well, the way that Notre Dame has been playing the last 2 to 3 weeks. We've seen Notre Dame in the beginning of the season go out and get, of course, scoring 40 to 50 points every week. But, regardless of who we play, you have to do that every week, no matter what. And that is something the USC has to understand, that they're going to score points. We need to score the points. We all know, like, if you guys watched the game last night, Stanford was down, I believe, 21-0 or something like that. Or I'm sorry, 20-something to 7 last night. Very late game in the Pac-12. They ended up losing the game last night, 46-43 in double overtime. Stanford outscored them 36-7 last night in the second half. So Notre Dame has to come out fast. We have to score right away because we know we can score on the USC defense. We already know that. So what we have to do is we have to come out and establish the run. I want to keep this game in a neutral field where we hold field possession. If we hold field possession here and maintain that right, you keep this USC team off the field, this offense off the field. We know they're lightning. They can score fast. I've looked at an amazing stat with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, actually, his time of possession is kind of amazing with this team. Their average time of score is 3 minutes and 12 seconds, which is pretty good for an offense. With the weapons they have, we know Caleb Williams with his feet, he can run the ball. Last week, he did win the game on his feet against Arizona in double overtime. So that is one thing, too, where our linebackers have to play a spy. We know Caleb Williams is, like a magician. A lot of people are calling him like a Patrick Mahomes of the, college football. I read a lot of articles where they're saying, Caleb Williams is Patrick Mahomes. He's probably going to be the best thing coming out of college in the last, 25 years, basically. And that goes high recruit, saying a lot of things about him as well. But what I want to see is this Notre Dame offense come out and establish the run. Of course, we have to do that. We have to maintain a mobility on the ground to run the ball. And, of course, the passing level. I want to see all the wide receivers get involved today. I want to see a bounce-back game from Sam Hartman coming off one of his worst games. No, I don't want to say it was his career because, hell, he's thrown 4 picks a couple times when he played at Wake Forest. So I want to see Sam Hartman bounce back this week. We have to see him bounce back as well, coming from 3 picks last week, 1 TD, and that 1 TD was basically a charity touchdown at the very end. So coming off your worst game, you have to establish what we have to do here, and it's the run. Stop USC's offense, which is a very high task to do. If no team has really stopped them this year, of course, they will score. But we have to score as long with them and also keep their offense off the field by continuing long drives from Hartman. The running game is very, 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 I want to say the number one thing this week. We have to run the ball. Their front seven for USC does give a lot of run up. I believe they are looking at They are actually looking at I think it was I was looking at a stat last night. And I think they give up average about 184 yards per game on the ground. So that is something Notre Dame can utilize today and get that run game going, of course. But the other thing too is that defense. That defense has to stop, and the secondary is definitely going to be tested today for Notre Dame. Xavier Watson, the back end, is going to be playing a lot today. With his eyes on a swivel, looking at all these wide receivers running down the field. They, like I said, they are missing Zacharias Brown, their number one go-to guy, especially on the special teams. I mean, that's going to be something where he's had 3 touchdowns already on the ground, returning kicks. I believe it's 2 punt and 1 kickoff already for the season. Halfway through the season here, he has 3 touchdowns on special teams. But he's going to be he's a questionable decision, which is kind of a cat and mouse game. I mean, he is injured, but we'll see what happens there. So that is one of the biggest things, and one of my concerns there too is this Notre Dame defense. They have to keep their head on a swivel today. Brendan Rice is a flyer too as well, so he's going to be flying down the field too. The other thing is the linebackers. The linebackers today have to go out there and control this line of scrimmage. And the other thing is, I'm not sure who's going to be running a spy on Caleb Williams. I don't know who. I mean, JT Brand up front, he has to play, on the line of scrimmage too. He's a run stopper. He's been getting a lot of pressures. Is it going to be Alifu, playing in the back end, playing in the linebacker position, looking at Caleb Williams? He has the speed to find him, to stay with them. But I think you have to run a spy on Caleb Williams today. He's just one of those different breeds that can get out of the pocket, keep players alive. And that's the one thing, it's going from his first year. He did like to run the ball a lot. I don't want to compare him to anybody, but the person I'll use is like a Jalen Hurts. And, last year the Eagles used him so much to run the ball outside the pocket to continue a play, get the first down with his legs. Caleb Williams did that last year a lot, where he looked to run the ball. If the play wasn't downfield, he would just, maneuver his way down the field with his legs, get the first down, take some vicious hits, of course. But this year he's not been doing that a lot, but he does do it when he needs to. Last play of the game last week, it was basically like a Chinese fire drill where there was seven players on their left side last week. And it was this three down lineman from a center, wide receiver, and 1 back. And Caleb was in the shotgun pistol by himself, ran the ball on the outside and just got the touchdown, won the game. But we know he is like a running back in the backfield, so you definitely have to have a spy on him. To me, it's just today has to be ground control from Notre Dame. Keep this USC team off the field today. I think it's going to be a hard task to do because this USC offense can't put up points. They're averaging 38 points per game so far. Notre Dame is averaging 28 points per game right now. But the biggest thing was those first 4 weeks where we scored damn near 50 points every game. Playing the Cupcakes, Tennessee State, Navy, of course. Those even the Chippewas of Central Michigan, we put up a lot of points. So that average is kind of a washy number when you say 28 points because the last 3 weeks, I want to say really, haven't been, consistent on the offense here. Defense giving up a lot of yards, a lot of points, a lot of stupid penalties on defense and offense, of course. But I think this week, this is one of the games that a lot of people circled here. Of course, I did as well. Prime time tonight, 7:30 on Fox. What better way? The rivalry's back. Notre Dame, USC here. And USC has a lot to play for, of course. Of course, they're number 10 in the nation. Their schedule is pretty daunting, too. They do have Oregon, of course. They do have Washington as well. So they have a tough schedule to play, but you also, play who's in front of you here today. So I'm going to give you a prediction here. I think Notre Dame is actually going to bounce back and win this game tonight. Coming from last week, Golden and Freeman, defensive specialists as coaches, there's a lot on their plate this week. A lot of incentive to what is Notre Dame. A lot of talk. This is overrated, of course. Last week I even put a hashtag, "Are we overrated?" And I think this is a bounce back game for Notre Dame, where to the point that the defense is going to play tonight. They are going to give up points. If you're looking for a shutout tonight from this Notre Dame defense, you're going to watch the wrong game. They are going to give up some points tonight, of course. But I think it's going to be, I think they're going to hold USC to probably about 20, 24 points. They are going to get their points. They are going to score. I mean, it's just so hard in this league now where you can't shut down a team with these weapons. You do have the defending Heisman Trophy winner in Caleb Williams. So, that's something where his legs can get the first down, move the sticks, continue to drive, and they can actually score at times with his legs. Very, very good quarterback. I think he's averaging, like last week in the game against Arizona, he didn't even have to throw the ball last week. I think he had 138 yards total, but the ground game was in there. And the other thing is field possession. I think their total offense from USC last week against Arizona I believe was under, I want to say around 350 for the entire game. And you basically put up 40 some points in that game. But the field possession, the average starting possession was at their own 48-yard line. So you're playing with half a field. That's what I mean with Notre Dame here. We have to establish the run, get our play action going, establish run, get the play action going to the secondary. I'm not talking drags. I'm not talking sweeps. I'm not talking, 5-yard, routes here. I'm not talking that. We got to get wide open in the secondary, the second level here. Mitchell Evans was nowhere to be found in the second half last week, and that goes to play calling. We have to get Chris Tyree, in open field, downfield. I want to see Jaden Greenhouse. I want to see these wide receivers get downfield into the second level here. That's something I definitely want to see. Excuse me, Eileen checking in. Thank you, Eileen checking in. I'm late to the party, but let's go Irish. Exactly. Up here, it's downpouring like crazy, Eileen. It is like craziness, like a thunderstorm going on. It was like my internet was in and out this morning. It was so crazy. I was freaking out. But, it is raining in Notre Dame, too, as well. Like I said earlier, before everybody checked in, one of my friends, they're an usher for Notre Dame. They've been an usher there for the stadium for about 5 years now. And he's working the tunnel as the players come in. And he was to send me a video of how the downpour is. The field is just like soaked. But that actually does, hold an advantage to Notre Dame if the weather continues too. The water, the line last week was just so ridiculous. Our front five last week, we couldn't establish a run. 48 yards per game last week, and estimate 20 yards on, I think it was 16 or 18 carries for 20 yards. That's just mind blowing. So if it rains, it actually benefits Notre Dame a little bit. It slows down that USC offense for their wide receivers to get deep. Playing in the rain, it's a little bit different. Of course, we know that sunny California, you can run the ball, throw the ball all day long, and beautiful 80-degree weather in December here. But you're coming to Notre Dame here. If it rains, it actually holds an advantage to us. We can establish that run up front with this front five that we had. We have to get that game going, of course, because if not, it could be a long day because Hartman can't throw the ball downfield. But if you get in a shootout with this USC team, it can go lopsided in many ways and very fast. So the front five actually have to open up this game. I think it's going to be a running game today, establish to run, take what the defense gives you in the second level. If they want to put 8 in the box, 7 to 9 in the box, and then you take your shot downfield with Hartman. But I think Hartman definitely have a bounce back game this week, coming off 3 picks last week. He has to. Can't get any worse as last week. So, he's sitting at 16-3 this year for, touchdown versus turnover ratio. 3 picks last week. Estime has to bounce back, and I don't want to say Estime by himself exclusively. This offensive line has to get in the trenches and demand this game, take this game over in the offensive side of the ball. We have to. Long drives, sustain long drives. I know we can score quick with the best of them, but this game here, you have to take over time of possession. You've got to keep this USC team off the field. I don't know if you can. Honestly, their front seven is fast. Their linebackers, if you guys want to watch them, I don't remember his name, but their linebacker is 6'6". Okay, he weighs about 190 pounds. This guy is 6'6", and that's one of the things where he's had like 6 batted balls down this year, 2 picks. Where you're playing linebacker at 6'6", a tall string bean, where you can't get the ball over the top of this kid. He's good in pass coverage as well. He's like a gazelle. And when he plays linebacker, it's just like you got to be a Patrick Mahomes to throw the ball to your side. This linebacker is just amazing. He's not strengthful, about powerful, but his size, his wingspan is so hard to get the ball around this kid. He's just nasty. If you guys get a chance to watch him tonight, it's kind of crazy to watch a 6'6" linebacker who plays. If Estime hits him one time in the chest, I think he's going to fall down and be out of the game. That's how skinny he is. But it's kind of amazing, this kid playing too. But I think, today Notre Dame has to establish run. We have to get out there in the trenches. We have to win this game. It all starts up front, especially after last week with that debacle that we had versus Louisville. The front five was just manhandled from beginning to finish. 60 minutes of football. Ridiculous offensive line play, ridiculous defensive play last week, giving up 200 and some plus yards on the ground to a Louisville team. They didn't throw the ball a lot, which our secondary can cover, but the game is one up front, on both sides of the ball here. So we have to maintain both sides of the ball, offense and defensively. But I think Notre Dame does just win this game today, especially if the rain continues to pour a little bit, even if it's a little bit drizzle, though it's going to slow down the field for USC. And that gives us every chance to run the ball a little bit better with this offensive line. But then again, the word I want to use today is execute. You can call the plays, you can be, the best on paper, as we all know, but you have to be the best on the field. You can call the right plays, but it's up to the players to execute. Coaches can put players in great positions, bad positions, but it's all about execution today. So Notre Dame has to execute on both sides of the ball today. And it goes with, the front five up front and the front seven on the defense. So I am still going to go with the Notre Dame victory today. I'm going to go Notre Dame. I think they do, rewrite the ship here for the second half of the season. I think we do win this game, but it's going to be a little bit close. I'm still going to go Notre Dame. I'm going to say Notre Dame 32 today, and I think I'm going to go USC 27. I think it's a late touchdown that Notre Dame gets. The defense comes on the field and just, goes to a prevent defense. Keep what's in front of you, keep it in front of the sticks here, and I think Notre Dame will stop them on D. So I'm going to go 32-27 I'm going to go 32-27 Notre Dame. 32-27 Notre Dame today. That's going to be my final score. Once again, I apologize for getting a show. I was lagging a little bit. I probably still am with this weather up here. But I will be on tonight, about half hour after the game. But tonight we do have a couple great shows. It's going to be a makeup show. Is the Atomic Drop will be on tonight for all your wrestling fans at 8 p.m. tonight. Also, we are going to have a Silver and Black show coming on as well. And speaking of Silver and Black and Atomic Drop, there it is, Ken Fry. Go Irish. I'm probably going live at 2 o'clock, heading to Hershey again. We'll be live at 8 p.m. All right, no problem. So Ken Fry will be on tonight at 8 p.m. tonight. So please make sure you check him out on the Out of the Box Sports Entertainment Network. And that's kind of, I love how Ken says go Irish, being that he really doesn't like the Irish. But, I kind of like that, Ken. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Adam Glenn says, I think Notre Dame finds a way to win. Adam, I really do agree with that. I mean, it's kind of hard. You watch last week's game. As we always watch every game, Adam, of course. But last week was just a debacle where the offensive line got manhandled. Louisville's front seven just put so much pressure. When you hold Notre Dame's offense to 284 yards for the game, and a lot of those yards were given yards in the second half to Sam Hartman. Estimate 20 yards on 20 carries last week. Our running backs, 38 carries for 44 yards. That's mind-blowing. That is mind-blowing right now. Mind-blowing. So that's something, like I said, Adam, we will find a way to win. We have to bounce back this week. We have to win this game. I'm still going to go 32-27 Notre Dame. I think they rewrite the ship. You can't hold an offense like this down. We have great coaches. I don't want to say great. Gerard Parker is still like an identity crisis with me. Is he a running OC? Is he a passing OC? Is he a balanced OC? Is he reading the right, formations here? Is he a second half, making the adjustments from first half to second half? Because some games I have seen that, Adam, and some games I haven't. Last week, Mitchell Evans, our tight end, we lost. Of course, we lost last year, Michael Mayer to the Oakland Raiders, Ken Fry's team. And last week he was established in that second level. Mitchell Evans can catch anything out there. He's like a second coming of Michael Mayer. But in the second half, there was no play called into it all. He was like a hidden thing. Last week I was waiting for the Irish to go double tight end, 12 personnel here. Because Louisville was getting some pressure on there. So you run a double tight end, that 12 personnel. Because the running game is not there. You get that chip block. You get them in clear coverage outside in the secondary and second level. Where's Holden States? Where's Mitchell Evans? Where's this play calling at? So today I want to see Gerard Parker take what the defense gives you. I think the front seven is fast for USC, but they do give up a lot of points. They give up 30 points a game on average. And that's to teams like Arizona. That's teams that we don't even think of. That's like us playing, the Navies, the Middle Tennessee States, the Central Michigans. So we do know they give up points. And our offense is, I want to say not elite to what they're playing, but the all rights go to Notre Dame here. I mean, you got to establish the run game here. If it rains, it's going to establish a lot more for Notre Dame. It's going to be played up front. That front five has to establish the run. There's no way Estime can just go out there and get 30 or 20 yards a game. He has to go back to the Estime. The first 4 games here, averaging 100, 105 yards a game. And that goes from the offensive line, Joe Alt, across, they have to play this game. Rico Spindler. Those guys have to establish a run up front. So I'm still going to go 32-7. I will be on a little bit later tonight. Hopefully, it's not going to be like last week where, it was a all-out rant. I want to see Notre Dame rewrite the ship here, and what better way to go out and play USC and rewrite this ship? It's a game we scheduled on the schedule here. It's the Trojans. We hate the Trojans, I still go back to a memory of, a lot of people, Adam, of course, you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan. You guys call it the brotherly shove. What all rights go to the Bush push here. I still remember that game there where it knocked Notre Dame out. The Bush push, where it all began, basically. Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, still remember that in the back of my head. Still see visions of it, and it's just hard to say, hard to forget, basically. But I think Notre Dame was tonight, 32-27. I think it's a Notre Dame victory. So, guys, before we get out of here, I do want to say some sponsors really quick. And once again, at the beginning of the show, I do apologize. I appreciate everybody staying with me and going through this little rainy, rocky, laggy ride today. But before we get out of here, I do want to talk about some sponsors. Jason Fye, 1-800-HURT-123, Attorney Big Al. We're in vehicle accident, slip and fall, workman's comp, personal injury claims. 3 convenient locations through Pennsylvania and New Jersey. First, the city of your brotherly love, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh, my neck of the woods here. Cherry Hill in New Jersey, in the Garden State. If you need to call them, 1-800-HURT-123, mention Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. No recovery, no fee. And if we take your case, I promise you get the Out of the Box Sports rate at 33.3% for your entitlement case. No recovery, no fee, 1-800-HURT-123. Last but not least, the evolution of flavor-infused coffee. Newest blend, the Organic Peru La Florida. Three also great flavors here: bourbon chocolate chip, toasted coconut rum, Samaritan blend. So make sure you get your coffee out there. As Monday morning's coming up, start your week off right. Use promo code OTBS Sports at monkeycoldcoffee.com. T-shirts, K-cups, cold beer diffusers, thermal cups, you name it, regular coffee cups, and the T-shirts as well. Reach out to them. Make sure you use promo code OTBS Sports. And also, guys, last but not least, is our sponsor here, dugoutmugs.com. If you need a baseball mug, any kind of a logo out there, custom made, whatever you prefer, make sure you use promo code OTBS Sports 20 at the registers. Anything you want out there, baseball, whatever. Hell, if you want to get a Notre Dame Fighting Irish one out there, reach out to them, send them your little logo. They will do it for you. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks. Christmas is coming up, so make sure you grab one of those as well. So once again, dugoutmugs.com, OTBS Sports 20 at the checkout. It's a great thing. I love them. I received mine actually 2 days ago. It's pretty nice, pretty cool. Thought it was going to be a little bit bigger, but I think I hit the wrong size on there, of course. And guys, listen, out here at Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, we have something for everybody, Monday through Sunday. Monday we have a video game show. Sully Squad on Monday night, talking all Philadelphia sports. They are hyped up with the Phillies, in the NLCS here, of course. Tuesday's Commanders Gridiron. Baseball extra innings, talking about the MLB playoffs. Ken Fry with the Bat Cave. He's going to continue through the postseason because his Mets are out, of course. Fuji's Philly Flair will be back sometime next month as he does work all the Phillies games. College Football Frenzy every Wednesday at 8:05. 215 Boys 9:30. Myself and Dan do a weekly NFL Pick'em show every Thursday at 6 p.m. The NFC East War Room, 4 teams, 4 hosts, 1 show, all NFC East talk. The old school will be back in about another month here as we do a show once a month. The Atomic Drop will be on tonight at 8 p.m. A little makeup from this weekend. Of course, you're checking into the Golden Dome podcast every Sunday at a post-game show 30 minutes after the game. Silver and Black Layer, of course, will not be on today. It will be on a little bit later to be announced. Sunday, tomorrow morning, the Big Blue Power Hour, talking all New York Giants as they try to beat the Buffalo Bills tomorrow, Sunday Night Football. And, of course, you will see me not tomorrow, but you'll see me Monday with the pregame and postgame for the 215 Boys, Scouts, Cowboys. So make sure you like, follow, share, subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, and the Instagram, or the Gram is what all the kids are calling it. So that is our schedule, guys. I appreciate everybody tuning in for me. Really do. Katie, my fiance, says, I am hopefully very happy with your recommendation. Yes, actually, Katie did use Jason Fine. She had a little slip about a year and a half ago, and she did use them. And it was very fast, didn't even go to court. It was just a clear-cut win. So, Katie, my fiance, is actually a true testimony of Jason Fine. Used them. Very, very smart, very good lawyer, very personal friend of mine. And it was basically a 3-month case, and it was all done and settled with. So, yeah, it's great thing there. So reach out to myself. My name is Paul Spencer. You can reach out to me or 1-800-HERD-123, and I will listen to your case. If we take your case, we'll get you headed in the right direction. But hey, listen, man, we're going to get out of here, of course, today. I appreciate everybody tuning in. And how about we go out there and get a Notre Dame victory tonight? I mean, we'll be back on probably around like 11 o'clock tonight. And hopefully we're talking about a USC downfall loss here to our Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So my name is Paul Spencer, and I appreciate everybody tuning in. I will see you tonight probably around 11 to 11:30. And let's go Irish. Let's beat USC. Until then, talk to everybody. See you tonight.